What is up, people? Steve Craven with Applying Pressure Podcast. I got my man Trevor here. Listen, this dude right here might be very similar to me, but on a Texas standpoint, because he's about as real as it gets. Trevor, man, what brings you and your dad, besides the I told you so, what brings you and your dad to Toronto?
Well, plain and simple, what me and my father do is we source money, we raise funds, we find investors for opportunities in the Texas oil and gas fields. We also have properties in Oklahoma, Louisiana, so on and so forth. But
Sure.
at the end of the day, we put on oil and gas projects, whether that be established fields or maybe we find some interesting wildcat opportunities. But that's what we're doing. We put together monies and we give people opportunities, huge tax advantages in the U.S. So we provide people, different ways to spend their money and
Sure.
put it in and diversify their portfolio. So
on the other side of it, right? I mean, this is obviously not your cup of tea normally. It's something completely different. There's obviously, like you and I were talking about, there's the silver lining in everything. The contacts are great, but what you guys do is black gold. It's a lot different than what's out here right now.
yeah, so I think the real difference in like what we do and versus where we're out here doing like the blockchain stuff, it's just at the end of the day, as an investor, somebody that's sitting on real capital that's going to spend and put their money in a project where it's just a diversification of funds, right? With this Web3 stuff, you're looking at decentralizing funds and how transactions are run and so on and so forth. And it's sweet. It's awesome. We stick holes in the ground where we think there should be, and we produce revenues off what comes out of the ground.
Absolutely.
It's very simple.
And hope like hell it ain't dry.
Do your damnedest, but it can happen.
Absolutely. Prepare for the worst, but always expect the best. I mean, that's the way it is. So listen, me and you got to talking. Obviously, since you were a pup, Pop said, hey, look, man, it's time for you to get busy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the beginning when you first really got started into this world and, kind of the tailored avenue of which direction you went.
So, what's funny is, as a young man, I think we all understand a little bit, especially if our dad is like an awesome dude and he's really like around a lot of stuff. You almost get a little bit of like, I don't want to be just like you. You know what I mean? I want to have a little bit of my own. He's awesome and I love the qualities I have of him, but like, in some ways I was like, I want to be and do my own thing.
Make your own name.
Yeah, make my own name. So in my early career, I went to work in somewhat of an adjacent tech space, but it was still very much good old Southern Texas boy. I went to go work for a company that did outdoor recreation education courses.
Absolutely.
Basically, we taught kids how to hunt and fish safely, and you get your certificates doing that. And so I went off to go do that for a little while, and eventually I came back and started working with Andy.
Well, on the other side of that, what's powerful more than anything, man, is you changed a lot of kids' lives that you don't even have a clue. Even today, you kind of probably not necessarily look past it, but you're probably like, forgot about it, it's kind of in the past type thing. But these kids out here, more than likely, are probably like, at some point, man, that dude Trevor probably taught me something or changed my life or gave me a different avenue. You never know, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, what's really funny about that, and the reason it made me think of this is because last night we went to the Blue Jays game, and a catcher made a really cool play. One of the toughest plays in baseball, where somebody hits a pop-up straight up in the air above a catcher, and it the ball will almost go into the stands and
then
come back.
Yep.
Right, and it's really weird to judge that, and I learned that from him, obviously, and it's kind of a thankless job, right? Being a catcher and doing something like that. So you just kind of made me think of that when you mentioned it. But yeah, the thankless jobs are the fun ones.
And the thankless jobs are the ones that get the least bit of credit. But those are one of those jobs that count. Think about it like this way. We're going to use the analogy of the catcher. Everybody thinks the catcher is the guy going, and that's it. But what they fail to realize is if he misses this for any particular reason at all, if he doesn't catch that one play right there that does come back into the from the grandstands back in. If he doesn't catch
Different
that,
ball
it
game.
could change the whole game.
Different ballgame.
That's the difference of what you're doing. It's the stuff that people don't see that works, but after they see it work, they're like, oh my God, it really does work.
Bingo.
That's where it comes in.
We had a great example of that just this past week. A gentleman that had done an investment with us where we're in the middle of doing all the work. And, part of my job and what I help Andy with is kind of cutting out the noise. Because when you get the investment dollars and we go to actually execute on these projects, there's a ton of unknown within the first 30, 60, 90 days.
Yeah.
A lot of work to be done, and it's some promising stuff, some worry. And so how do we quiet the noise and just look at the data and give transparency as much and as long as we can, but also not blow things out of proportion and be realistic about what we're actually looking at.
Sure.
And so that was an opportunity just recently to get to kind of provide that for somebody and calm them down. And
one of the things you brought up, and I'm actually very new to this, and just talking to Andy and everything was just such an eye-opener for me, but it's like it is the 30, 60, 90 days of unknown. No, everybody thinks you walk up, you drop it in the ground, bink, it goes straight down. Within a day, you're drilling, and that's the end of it. There is a big process to this, from changing bits, and he was kind of explaining that they keep a whole log of this stuff. How important is that log just to make sure you're staying on track, to make sure mess-ups and all of that?
So we were kind of joking about how not wanting to hang out with Dad and do his thing. Since I was a little kid, I was reading those log books.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got to imagine Dad having a big, beautiful office, all this stuff, and I see big boxes back there. And I go reach back there and grab one of the sheets of paper, and it's just like you see in a cartoon. You rip out the damn accordion.
It just keeps going and
these
going
log
and
books,
going.
and it'll run all this data. And I mean, I could literally run it from his office to the back door, and I just learned how to read those lightly. I'm going to rely on the geologists and engineers
Absolutely.
and the people whose job that is. But from a very young age, I got used to reading and seeing those log books and understanding what was going on with the process. So it was an honor.
Speaking of a young age, you may or may not told me a time. We'll leave the age out of it. But you may or may not told me a time where you might have picked up welding at a very young age, right?
Yeah. So back in the day, Dad and their company, they had a shop out in the panhandle of Texas, very close to Oklahoma, and anywho, they had 50 or 60 something wells out there, and I think 55 of them or something needed chemical pots. And so me and this other old boy, I learned how to weld that week, and he was out there working, and we were all doing stuff, and I welded 55 chemical pots, and they all passed the test. And
man, that's great. At a young age, he's out there and any of you guys that don't know, welding is not easy. It's not easy to pick up. I mean, when you got that mask on, and it is a hot, hot job. I know from experience, that thing is a hot, hot job. And you're just doing your rolling nickels the whole time, And that's what you're looking for. That's something that a lot of people fail, and it is a lost art. You know what I mean?
Tough. It's very tough. I probably did it because I was young and hungry and adventurous. Nowadays, I feel like I might be too excited and freaking out. Like, oh shit, this is crazy.
He's 2 in, and he's like, we're done. I'm done. I've done enough today. I'm out of here. It's gone.
I thought we had machines for this now. What the hell?
Dad, who in the fuck is this guy? Where's he at? I need him to come finish this.
Yeah, I'm done with this.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
So, moving forward, man, I want to talk about a trial or a tribulation. When you came back to work with your dad, the first time you come into a problem where you were like, oh, fuck, this is not good.
Yeah, having difficult conversations with investors is always humbling, to say the least. So I think we have a pretty solid track record. We've done some great projects, and obviously there is some negative that comes with anything, right? Maybe we think that it's going to do X, but it ends up being economic, but it's really only doing Y.
Right.
And we don't get into details, but having to have those difficult conversations or having this conversation.
Sure, absolutely.
We already did a large investment, but we thought we accounted for everything, but there was this stupid thing that happened, and we need another couple bucks.
Yep.
But on the other side of that difficult conversation and those couple of bucks that we go raise, things get fixed,
Absolutely.
we make the right decisions, and we find that it was in fact worth the investment to go spend those
Absolutely.
couple bucks.
Yeah.
And really, that's where I'd give him and the team that he's built a lot of praise, is how to and when to make those decisions and see the opportunities
Yeah.
in different projects where other people have not. And I'll give you a perfect example. So there's one property we have out in West Texas. Won't get into the details, but the operator that owned it before us, we bought it from, was not doing things correctly. And it would have been very simple for us to sweep it under the rug and kind of not worry about it.
Sure.
And we didn't know that it was going on. So when we had acquired it and spent the money, we had to come back and go, crap, they were doing this stuff,
Right.
so we need to clean this up.
Yeah.
We did, and it turned out to work in our favor. So it's just
Fair.
small examples, things that happen over and over again, and just
Life learning lessons.
trying to stay consistent within that mentality.
Absolutely. Man, Trevor, I want you to do one thing for me, man. You're talking to yourself at 15 years old right now, and he's sitting across from you. What piece of advice would you give yourself at 15 years old right now?
Be patient but aggressive.
That's fantastic. Because at 15 years old, if your dad was sitting up here with me right now and I would say, hey man, what was this kid like at 15? He'd be like, you know what? Let me just tell you, if you're anything like me, I was a fucking pistol. So there is no telling what you're going to get out of me.
Yeah.
The other side of it, man, is, this is a side that people don't see. The great part about it is people get to see the reality of this, right? People, what you're telling the story of and what you're showing the side of is the real side. Not the, let me show you what it's like. Let me show you the glitz and the glamour. This is reality. This is the chance for the dry hole. This is the chance where I left the family business for a little bit to show that I can make my own name, but I came back to show you that my worth is still here. That's the difference that people fail to succeed and fail to see.
Thank you. Yeah, and I love the opportunity to get to share that with people. I think you're right. It is very easy to get lost in the day-to-day and kind of what we're doing, and it's nice to take the moment to get to explain kind of what it is that we're doing, why it is we're doing it, and kind of like, why the heck are you still doing that?
Sure.
And here's something that people may not know. It's funny enough, we're sitting here and everybody's got their opinions and what have you, but here's the truth of the matter. In America, we did, was it 7.5, was it a B or a T? B, 7.5 billion barrels of oil consumed in America last year. That is, and I don't like making up numbers. I'm not looking at the chart. What was it, like 89% energy consumption was oil and natural gas? Okay.
Golly.
Have you ever driven through West Texas and see the giant wind farms?
Absolutely.
That's going to make up 10-12% of our consumption. Okay, we're not finding a solution any day soon.
No,
We're going to
I couldn't
need
agree
oil
with
and
you
gas.
more. I couldn't agree with you more.
It's in freaking everything.
And the great thing about it is we have plenty in the United States. It ain't going to run out anytime soon.
Plenty to go get.
And the price, whether it's up or down, is still always up. Mm-hmm. Trevor,
And
man.
again, before I let you go, I
Yeah.
know we're about to the end here.
No, you're
but
good.
again, that's where finding good operators is important, because we look at those situations. We say, price of oil, it works expensive. Maybe we slow down and don't
Yep.
produce as heavily.
Yep.
Maybe we turn it up. There's ways to make decisions and optimize your revenue production over time, and that's where like having a really smart and wise operator comes into play. And I've learned that from him over the years.
Man,
so
I'll
that's
tell
been
you
fun.
what, shout out to your dad, Andy, man.
Big time.
That dude is a stand-up guy. I had the chance to interview him. He's done one hell of a job with you, man. You're a fucking hell of a dude.
Thank you.
Where can people find you at on social media, or if you want to give it out?
In all honesty, I am one of the millennials that just got off of it all.
Yep.
My name's Trevor Westmoreland. Again, you can check us out at tm2squared.com. You'll be able to find kind of what we're doing. If you go on there, you'll find some contact info, send us some questions. We're happy to jump on a call and kind of keep talking, but yeah, I don't do the whole social media thing.
And
I
we
just
are
don't
open
like
to
the noise.
investors, right?
Oh, absolutely open to investors.
Yes. So
if you need somewhere to spend your money, U.S. investors, tax incentives, they're very much there. Always talk to your tax advisors and what have you, but love to give you some info on that as well.
Yeah, and on the backside of it, there ain't nothing better than black gold, people.
It's fun.
It don't get no better than that. Make sure you come and see my guys. Both a fantastic family, legends out here, man. Trevor, it's been
It's a
amazing.
pleasure. Thank
Thanks,
you so
brother.
much for having me.
Yep.
Thanks. Am I doing the?